Jim and Ron have 45 marbles combined. They each lose 5 marbles. The product of the marbles they both have now is 124. How many marbles did they each have to start with? How can we solve a problem like this? This can actually be solved using the quadratic equation. So we know there are 45 marbles in total at the start. They're both split up between both Jim and Ron. So before losing the marbles, let's say the number of marbles Jim has is X, and Ron had 45 minus X, the number of marbles Jim had. After losing the marbles, we'll say Jim has X minus the 5 lost marbles. And we can say Ron now has 45 minus X minus the 5 marbles. Or we can just say 40 minus X. So now we have two expressions representing the amount of marbles each person has after losing 5 marbles. We also know that the product of the amount of marbles they both have after losing 5 marbles is 124. So now we can set up our problem like this. So we have the number of Jim's marbles and we have the number of Ron's marbles, and the product of these two quantities is 124. Let's use FOIL so that we can get a proper quadratic equation out of this. So first we're going to multiply the first two numbers. That gives us 40x. Then we're going to multiply the two outermost numbers, x times x times negative x, that gives us negative x squared. The two innermost numbers, negative 5 times 40, that gives us negative 200. And then the two last numbers, negative 5 times negative x, that's going to give us positive 5x. And that's equal to 124. We can combine like terms, and we have 40x and 5x. So that's going to give us 45x. So let's rearrange and rewrite this. We have x squared plus 45x minus 200 is equal to 124. Let's switch our signs. So we get x squared minus 45x plus 200 is equal to negative 124. Let's add this 124 to both sides so we get 0 on the right. Now we have our quadratic equation. X squared minus 45x plus 324 is equal to 0. Now we can use the quadratic formula to find the roots, thus finding the amount of marbles each person had. This is the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. And that's going to give us our x values. So this is our a term, this is our b term, and this is our c term. So let's fill this in. So we have negative 45 plus or minus the square root of negative 45 squared minus 4 times 1 times 324 all over 2 times 1. If we solve this for the positive case, we get 36. And if we solve for the negative case, we get 9. So that means Jim had 36 marbles to start with, and Ron had 9 marbles to start with. Or vice versa, honestly, I don't know. One of them had 36 marbles, and one of them had 9 marbles. So there we just solved a word problem using the quadratic formula. Thank you for watching.